Hello and welcome to the Share It with Ishani podcast. And I'm Ishani Gupta, radio anchor and a public speaking coach. As a reminder, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because I bring in one new podcast episode every single Saturday. And today on my show, I have a very special guest all the way from the US. She is Andrea Mason. Well, she is a personal accountability coach and she is a global motivational speaker trained by Mr. Les Brown, which is absolutely amazing. And she is the creator and innovator of Press, Play, Plan Life According to You. So I have a wonderful guest on my show. Please welcome Andrea Mason. Hi, Andrea. How are you doing?
Hi, Ishani. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, privilege to be here and connect with you. I love meeting new people across the world, learning new cultures, new experiences, and just sharing everything I can to help in the world in need.
That's cool. Amazing. Even I'm so really delighted to have you on my show, and I'll love to learn a lot from you, hear your story, and obviously share it with my viewers. So, what exactly inspired you to become a personal accountability coach?
Excellent question. So, I was born in Colombia, South America, during the war-torn drug zone era at its prime, during the cartel. And my parents decided to give me up for adoption, for they were unable to care for themselves, let alone me. And so what they did was they made the ultimate sacrifice and put me up for adoption to the promised land of America. And Ishani, weighing at 11 pounds, only 11 months old, I was welcomed unconditionally with open arms and love of my parents in the States. And so in doing so, at an early age, they were able to tell me that I was adopted. They felt it was a gift, it was a treasure that they were so proud to share with me. Little did they know that although it was a treasure being a gift to my family, it was a tragedy. I had no knowledge, no records, no photos of my parents. So I grew up without an identity. I looked in the mirror and I said, who do I look like? For my parents were from America, and I didn't look like them. I didn't fit in. I spoke differently and had different traits. And through my school years, as my parents were successful bankers on Wall Street, I decided that I was going to try to make something out of myself. My parents still to this day instill in me, Andrea, no matter what you do your best. Do what you love. Do it with passion and in integrity. And I enrolled in the industries of social work and psychology, where I understood cultural diversity. I understood the differences that we each have. And I was able to also embrace the science of what we do and what we don't do. And after decades in those industries, I decided to take a chance and put a risk on me. Let me take all my skills, gifts, and talents and put it into a gift. And that's where I met Mr. Les Brown. We connected, and he mentored me to tell me, Andrea, dream big. And here I am today before you, healthy and happy, living my dream of press play. Plan life according to you as a person accountability coach, helping individuals bridge the gap from where they are to where they want to be and help them with personal freedom.
Oh my God, that's something. But really, I appreciate whatever you have gone through, and you're such a strong woman. You have overcome all that despite knowing that you are an adopted child, but now look at you, you are doing such a wonderful job around the world, helping people around. That's so beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So how long have you been in this particular journey?
I've been on this journey since probably around 2014, 2015. See, what sparked this journey was, unfortunately, in 2007, I had lost my mother. And it was like my heart was taken from me again. And I was frustrated and I was holding grudges. How could you take my mother, my second mother for that matter, again? And I went into the deep, dark stages of sadness. And in doing so, I wasn't taking care of myself. And I had developed a lot of conditions that were not well for my well-being, medical conditions. So I suppressed it and I hid behind my work.
Mm-hmm.
And when I hid behind my work, I figured I didn't need to deal with my emotions. I'm in the social work psychology industry. I'll be all right. I need to take care of everybody else. But ladies and gentlemen, when you don't take care of yourself, that's when it hits. And that brought me to the hospital for about almost over a week. I'm hooked up to machines on the ICU unit. All of my limbs were suppressed. I was unable to use all four of my limbs, let alone keep down food. They said I was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis. And prior to that, I had a laundry list of conditions that were of medical stature. And I still remember our husband saying, "You need to come home. Your family needs you. I need you. Our son needs you." And it was at that moment, Ishani, I deep down into my vault of knowledge. And I remembered the movie The Secret. Now, spoiler alert, I'm not going to give it away, but there's a medical excerpt there that I honed true. Mm-hmm. The next day was the day of determining what was going to happen. They said, "Andrea, if you are able to keep down food and use your limbs again, your stay will be extended until further notice." Well, at that moment, I draped my feet over the hospital bed. I jumped down because of my petite stature. I walked to the nurse's station, and I was able to obtain and take in both breakfast and lunch. Later on that day, I was discharged with a medical clear bill of health. And what allowed me to do my turning point was that I had a mission. I had a message. It was my experiences and my losses and my vulnerability of all that has happened, being bullied, being abused every way, shape, or form during my collegiate and high school and elementary years from my peers. My safe haven was my family. And when my mother was taken from me, as my father was a diligent worker, I had limited time with him. And I empowered myself, mind over matter, and I am here to share my story with the world. You put the word impossible on paper. Look at the prefix. I am. And that's what I do every single day.
Wow. That is so powerful. Really powerful. You are such an amazing woman. I mean, you have been through a lot, but still you have defeated all the challenges that were in front of you, and you have emerged victorious. I'm so happy for you, and Andrea.
Thank you. I truly believe, as Mr. Brown has also shared, God and whomever you believe in, if they don't put opportunities or obstacles in front of you that you can't handle, and whatever you can achieve, they take care of. And they believe you have the potential, you have the willingness within. But first you have to believe in it. And it's not easy. We feel, why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah.
But we all have that book of life. Some have more chapters than others of despair, loss, grief, suffering, anxiety. But we all have chapters of wins, success, love, and happiness. And it's how we read those chapters and about our perspective on what we are going to do. And like Mr. Brown says, are we going through it or are we growing through it? And that is what allowed me and empowered me to connect with him back in October.
Wow, truly amazing.
Thank you.
So, I really love your mantra of follow your heart and not be heard. So, can you elaborate upon this? Because in today's world, we have seen that people really love following what others are doing.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
instead of following the people, if we can do something else, if we are creating a unique place for ourselves, that is such a great thing to do, but also a very difficult thing to do. So can you please elaborate upon this? Yeah.
Absolutely. But before we get into this, I want you to grab your cell phones and take this opportunity because nuggets are coming your way.
Wow.
Go to your email and type in am.pressplay@gmail.com for
Mhm.
your complimentary session with me and type in the word Ishana, excuse me, so I know where you came from.
Yeah.
So follow your heart and not the herd. I remember one day I was going into the city in the Upper West Side and I was taking a ferry and I was trying to figure out why is there this huge line taking forever to get on the boat. People have places to go, people to see. And I remember calling my husband and he's always kind of been on the other end of the phone through these epiphanies that I have. And
Mhm.
he's just like, well, why don't you just go up front? Why don't you create side by side? And I was
Mhm.
just like, well, I don't want to cut everybody. He's like, if you go side by side, you're not cutting anyone. If you go in front of somebody, then you're cutting someone. So I took it upon myself. I went to the side, and Ishani, everybody followed, and everybody was able to get on that ferry. Where if you looked at the line from the perspective that way, it may have taken one or two ferries to get them there. So I came up with the phrase and quote, follow your heart and not the herd. And as Ishani pointed out earlier, we always follow the masses. Why do we want to follow the masses? If our creator wanted us all the same, we'd look the same, we'd sound the same, we'd talk the same. Our creator made us different in every single way. For we are puzzle pieces to the masterpiece. I help you, you help me. Your areas of strength may be my areas need for improvement, vice versa. And when you follow your heart and not the herd, you won't get hurt. And also the other way you can look at it is follow your heart and not the herd, what you hear. Because if you listen to everyone and do not make an informed decision on your own, you are following the herd. And that's what I'm trying to come across on this message. Be mindful and aware to ask questions. Don't take things for face value. Have we seen the world today? It's upside down, inside out, turned every which way. We are living in a world of two dimensions, and we are living in a world of uncertain and unknown. But until we as masses ask questions, we will get more information. We will gain more knowledge, and we will have different perspectives. And that is what is beautiful about the human race. We all come together. So let us rise and unite and no longer conquer and divide.
Yeah, that is such a beautiful way to look at it, because
Thank you.
what we believe right now, there is a competitive environment around us. We sometimes feel that we are in competition with another person, but that is not exactly true.
Mm-mm.
This is such a wonderful, such a powerful message that we are basically coming together. We should come together, and that is such a strong thing to do. Then we can
And that
together achieve a goal. Yeah.
absolutely. And when we come together, we're learning so much more. The benefit that I've gained also in as being a student of Mr. Les Brown is I found my family beyond borders. I
Mhm.
am now global. I've spoken on almost every single continent. I think I'll do two more and I'll be everywhere, the livable ones, by the end of the year. But like minded individuals, we all have a skewed perspective of things. When I, was connecting with people from Africa, from the Middle East, from Australia, from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to connect with them in their homes and see the lifestyles that they lead. It's something different than what is portrayed on the media. And that's why I've unplugged so many years ago. I invest in me and what I want to put into my headspace. Now, many people say, well, Andrea, how could you do that? That's being selfish. You're not being mindful of what's around the world. Well, if you know my family and friends, they'll tell me. One way or another, somebody will give me some information. But at the same token, I'd like to make decisions of information. I like to get my resources from the resource. And if I have any questions, that's when I be proactive. And I've spoken with, I've taught in Africa and the Middle East. And it's just amazing how they're ready to open their hearts. And we don't see the skewed perspective that the media or the public is giving. And I'm getting to the heart of the individuals. As a social worker and working in the psychology fields, whenever I had to do an assessment or interview or intake someone, I put the papers aside. I said, let me meet them as a human. And I got reprimanded a few times for that. But I was just like, they're not based on their labels. They're not based on their stigmatisms. And truth be told, the biggest myth about mental health is that they lack intellect. No. It's complete opposite. They have so much intellect. It's just their response, their understanding, their comprehension, or the chemical imbalance that allows their, comprehension or understanding to be skewed. And I think when we start, like you said, and I'm glad you addressed it, stop competing with each other. The only one you should be competing with is your reflection in your mirror of the day before. How can you better yourself? And when we have to understand is to be gentle with ourselves. We are our own worst critic. And when we emulate, we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not powerful enough. Not only are you instilling that into your mindset, but that's emulating on the people around you, and they're going to believe the same thing. Because if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anyone else to believe in you?
That is so true. That is the first thing we should be doing, actually, believing in ourselves.
Yes.
Unless we do that, how can we expect, just like you said, why will people, others, believe in us? And that is really a very powerful message. And I'm so fascinated by the fact that you have been talking and teaching around the world, in Africa, Middle East, and so many different countries. So how has your experience been apart from that? Can you elaborate a little more on this?
Absolutely. For me, I understand, what is so amazing is that these countries that are yearning for education, that don't have the resources, that's when you look at technology as a treasure. It's the gateway to connect with individuals on a two-dimensional realm, but give them all the gifts and values that you possess. And to see these other countries struggling, barely surviving, and just want to learn how to better themselves, and whether their infrastructure or government or whomever leaders are restricting that, we have to find a way. And I see it as paying homage to my upbringing. I came from an underdeveloped country during the war-torn drug zone era. I mean, it was horrible. But I am doing the best that I can with the resources that I have now to pay it forward, to give back to my country, to give back to my community, and give back at this world. And when you see individuals thriving for education, thriving for knowledge, it's just the most powerful thing of how could you not want to help them? And to the leaders, this is my message. I understand where you are. I commend you. But I ask you, look where you've been. How did you get there? What were your obstacles? What were your struggles? What were the sacrifices and the people who burned you along the way and the people who pushed you up and forward? You know, to talk into a world of two-dimensional, we are always looking for approval, always seeking attention. And you can have 99 people supporting you and one dislike. What do? We focus on that one dislike. And that is the validation that we aren't capable. But I ask you, why leave these unattended when they've been at your side from day one? Have courage, have strength, and be confident and act in a civil and respectful manner. And ask this one individual, what drew you to that conclusion? Absorb the information, accept it for what it is, and use that fuel to allow you to fall forward.
Absolutely. Again, a very powerful message from you, Andrea.
Thank you.
This is so true that we tend to focus on the person or the people who are disliking us instead of those who are supporting us from day one. So we should actually be focusing upon those who are supporting us instead of those who might not be liking us, who are maybe we just don't match. Sometimes it happens that their ideology might be different from us. Our ways and methods might be different from theirs. But that doesn't mean that we are wrong in any way. And we should actually look at those who are supporting us, who believe in our ideology. So yeah, a very powerful message. I'm really glad you talked about this particular aspect.
And you know what I've learned through this journey, Ishani, is that, you know, those naysayers, who non-believers, if I listened to them, I wouldn't be where I am today. And I remember working in the industries of social work and psychology, and I would go see the individuals from infantry to geriatrics. I would meet them on the streets, incarcerated. And some of the individuals have performed the most heinous crimes. And I would come home and I would be receiving the wrath. How could you talk to that monster? And I stopped them in their place. I said, to be quite honest, respecting their confidentiality, truth be told, they were victims of the behaviors they performed. That was all they knew. That was all they were exposed to. And that was what was done to them, for they know no other. So when we talk about adversities, I have an amazing friend, Nelson Beltedrar, the positivedrip.com. He was given the biggest adversity of his life, and he was given a timeline of his departure. Mm-hmm. And he looked it in the eyes and changed his ways. And today he still instills in me every single day. Look at the word impossible and remember, I am is in front of it. And when we realize that it is important that we don't judge, for they know. And a lot of the difficulties and obstacles we have as individuals is forgiving, because we feel so pride-stricken. If we forgive someone, that's validating their behavior and their malice towards us and justifying we deserved it. If we forgive and forget, then how could we even understand the pain? But I challenge you to forgive, to learn from your loss, from your scars, and remember those scars are there so you don't do it again. But Ishani, the most important thing is to forgive yourself. For we bring this baggage to us time and time again. If we don't face our past will continue to chase us. And if it's not forgiving the individual, the occurrence, or the incident, believe you me, an innocent bystander or an opportunity will have gone by the wayside because you didn't forgive. And for clarity, I'll explain. You have an individual who has done you wrong. Now, sure, each and every one of us is a name on a therapeutic couch. I'll repeat that. Each and every one of us is a name on someone's therapeutic couch. Whether you broke up with someone, you lost someone, or you work somewhere, somebody's always talking about you, how you've done them wrong, or they've mistreated you. And then you don't forgive that person. The first time you meet someone with that similar quality, you don't trust them, you don't communicate with them, or you have preconceived perspectives about them, and you pass up an opportunity. So please, forgive the individuals and forgive yourself. And what you will find, when I had done this speech or talked about this message before in a panel form, someone stood up and said, I was a bully. I never understood the vision of what it was like to be bullied. And I apologize. And I just never saw that perspective. I was just following my friends. And I said to that individual, on behalf of all whom you've bullied, I am forgiving you. And that person was just silence. So sometimes they might be in a zone. They don't know. Be courageous enough to snap them out of it and make them understand what they're doing isn't right. And allow yourself to walk away courageous enough and brave to go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because we are sometimes in a place when we don't realize that we are hurting ourselves as well as the people around us, but by not forgiving, we are still in the same place. We are not growing. We are hindering that path to grow, to proceed further with whatever our journey is. So this is your very powerful message that personal freedom can be achieved through forgiveness, right?
Right. Yes, absolutely. And it is important to forgive because we need to move on and move forward. And you're right. And I know some of the questions may arise. Well, Andrea, what if the person who's hurt me is in my area, in my zone, in my home? Some of us are still, with the times that we live in, some of us are still, limited to our, availability to go out and about. And I say to you, if they're not willing to accept your forgiveness, then just look at what they've done and say, okay, they may not want to treat me right, but what is one thing that they do or have done that I am appreciative of? And I'll just kind of give a little example.
Yeah.
A family member doesn't connect well with you. There's not a good chemistry between you and them.
Yeah.
And you feel the tension as soon as they walk in the room. And what you can do, what I have helped individuals is say, well, what had that individual done that was positive? And I get the grit teeth, I get the, I don't want to think of them in that way. But truth be told, what have they done that is positive? And if in their heart of hearts can't find something they've done to that individual, to themselves, what have they done for someone you loved? And just focus on that. Just focus on that. Or even the mere fact during the rain, they open the door for you. As soon as we shed light onto something positive, our heart starts to beat. We come alive again. Because believe you me, toxicity will consume you if you let it.
Yeah. Very true. Thanks a lot for sharing this, because a lot of us are in an environment of toxicity, and sometimes we just don't realize how to get out of that toxicity or how to try and think positive about something when we are not at all in that particular situation or in that mood or in that mindset to turn our negativity into positivity. Yes, that is very difficult. But just like you said, that still there might be at least a trace of positivity, something. And if we can
Somewhere.
focus on that, yeah, because
Yes.
all of us, every single human being has something or the other positive in him or her. And
Yes.
we just need
And
to find that out.
again, if it's really difficult, something with a connection with that individual, what have they done for someone you loved, someone you cared about? And just try, because as soon as you break that barrier, just it'll just open doors of opportunity, and it will free you. It will truly free you.
Yeah, very true. Because we are shifting our energy. Because you mentioned about the law of attraction, the secret. So I would say that it is all about energy. And if you shift your energy from negative to a positive energy, then of course there will be a room full of opportunities lying ahead of you, unnoticed. But once you change that perspective into a positive something, then of course you'll be able to notice the opportunities and things will start falling right from
Yeah,
there.
I mean, just think about it. What do we, I like to say change, I use the phrase change your channel. What do we do if unfortunately, we get programmed to watching TV all the time? Something you don't like, change it. You change your perspectives. A song, change the music. Everything is energy. It's how you look at it. It's a perspective. And if you go into something with a negative perspective, it's going to result in a negative perspective. And as much as you can, try to change it, because I believe me, how many times I've heard individuals or seen or experienced it myself. You get up in the morning, your alarm goes off late, you stub your toe, you drop your toothbrush, your hair is not looking right. It's just a downward spiral. But if you stop for 1 second and just be like, that was dumb, and then just smile.
Yeah.
Just even saying the word happy, say happy without smiling, you can't. That's a 30 seconds, guys, to 5 seconds. If you're going somewhere, just say happy, and boom, it's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Wow. Wow, that was a really powerful nugget. So,
Thank
guys,
you.
definitely say happy. Wherever you are feeling a little negative or things are not going right, just try saying the word happy and everything will start
Absolutely.
in place.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, 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 Andrea. So, any final message for my viewers?
So, yes, I want to thank you again for being here with me. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you are or on playback. Here's what I've learned through my journey, and I'm still going strong. Number 1, through the toughest times, miracles are made. Number 2, follow your heart and not the herd or the hurt, however you want to play it. Number 3, through life's trials and tribulations, triumphs can be won. And finally, learn how to take action. In this game of life, press play. Plan life according to you. For you hold the pen in your hands. When you were growing up, your story is told to you. However, it is time now for you to start writing your own story. Be authentic, act with integrity, and always, always do what you love.
Wow, thanks a lot, Andrea, for being here and sharing your stories. It was so beautiful. I mean, I got to learn a lot from your life's journey. You have had such an amazing, I don't know what to say, but this journey has led you to where you are currently. So much successful, helping people around the world. And I'm so glad and honored that you joined me on my show, on my podcast, and share these tips, share these wonderful nuggets with our viewers.
The pleasure is all mine. It's about paying forward and doing what I can to spread my message and my story, because we're not alone. We're here for each other, and we're going to get through this, and it's just a matter of being transparent, being vulnerable, and being open-minded. But that's when the opportunities arise, always.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Andrea. So on that note, signing off from Share It with Ishani, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.